My aunt tried to seduce every boyfriend I brought to family barbecues until I showed up with her ex-husband. I'm Madison, and I've spent the last 6 years watching my Aunt Vanessa destroy every relationship I tried to build. And honestly, I didn't even realize it was deliberate until it was almost too late. It started when I was 22, fresh out of college, new job at a marketing firm in Boston, and finally dating someone who wasn't a complete disaster. His name was Trevor. He was an accountant, wore sweater vests unironically, and brought wine to dinner parties. My mom loved him. The first family barbecue I brought him to was in July. My parents have this huge backyard in the suburbs, and every summer they host these massive cookouts. Aunts, uncles, cousins, neighbors, the whole thing. Vanessa showed up late, like she always did. Tight sundress, oversized sunglasses, that practiced laugh that carried across the lawn. She was my dad's younger sister, 41 at the time, but could pass for 35. Divorced 3 years earlier from her husband Marcus. No kids. Worked in real estate and made good money. I watched her hug my dad, kiss my mom's cheek, and then her eyes landed on Trevor. And who is this handsome man, she said, extending her hand. Trevor blushed. Actually blushed. Trevor, I'm with Madison. With Madison, Vanessa smiled. How lucky for both of you. I didn't think much of it then. Vanessa was always flirty. That was just her personality, or so everyone said. She charmed waiters and store clerks, and the guy who delivered her packages. It was harmless, except it wasn't. Throughout the afternoon, I kept noticing small things. Vanessa sitting next to Trevor on the patio. Vanessa laughing too hard at his jokes. Vanessa touching his arm when she talked. Vanessa asking him about his work, his hobbies, his favorite restaurants. Trevor ate it up. Most guys did. By the end of the evening, Trevor barely looked at me. He was too busy being the center of Vanessa's attention. When we left, he talked about her the entire drive home. Your aunt is really cool, he said. So interesting. She's been to Iceland twice. Iceland, Madison. Great, I said. And she gave me some stock tips. She knows a lot about investments. She sells houses. Well, she's clearly educated about a lot of things. I should have seen the warning signs then. The way Trevor started mentioning Vanessa in random conversations. How he'd bring up things she'd said at the barbecue days later. Like he'd been replaying their interactions in his mind. Vanessa mentioned this great restaurant in the North End. He'd say, we should try it. Did she? She has really good taste. You can tell. 2 weeks after the barbecue, Trevor suggested we get drinks with Vanessa. Just the three of us. To get to know her better. Why? I asked. She's your family. Don't you want me to connect with your family? Trevor, that's weird. How is it weird? You're being paranoid. But I wasn't paranoid. I was paying attention. I checked his phone one night while he was in the shower. Found messages between him and Vanessa. Nothing explicitly inappropriate, but the tone was wrong. Too familiar. Too flirty. Trevor, thanks again for the restaurant recommendation. Madison and I went last night. You were right. The pasta was incredible. Vanessa, I knew you'd love it. You seem like someone with refined taste. Trevor, I try. Maybe you could show me some of your other favorite spots sometime. Vanessa, I'd love that. Always happy to spend time with interesting people. I confronted him about it. He got defensive. We're just texting. She's being nice. She's being too nice. You're jealous of your own aunt? That's ridiculous. I'm not jealous. I'm concerned. About what? That I'm friends with a family member? Most people would think that's a good thing. The messages continued. Trevor started staying late at work more often, but I'd see him active on social media, liking Vanessa's posts, commenting on her photos. She'd post a picture of a sunset, and he'd write something like stunning view with a heart emoji. We broke up 2 months after that first BBQ. Trevor said he needed space to figure himself out, that he felt pressured, that maybe we rushed into things too quickly. I found out through a mutual friend that he'd been asking about Vanessa, where she worked, if she was seeing anyone, whether she ever talked about him. It's weird. My friend Ashley told me he broke up with you, but all he does is ask about your aunt. I called Vanessa once after Trevor and I split. Tried to keep my voice casual. Hey Vanessa, quick question. Did Trevor reach out to you after we broke up? There was a pause. Too long to be innocent. Oh sweetie. He sent me a few messages. I didn't think it was a big deal. What kind of messages? Just checking in, asking how I was doing. I think he was trying to maintain a connection to your family. You know, men do that sometimes after breakups. Are you still talking to him? Another pause. Madison, honey, I'm not interested in your ex-boyfriend. I was just being polite. You're reading too much into it. Then why didn't you tell me he was contacting you? Because I didn't want you to feel bad. I was trying to protect you, but she wasn't protecting me. She was gaslighting me, making me feel crazy for noticing what was right in front of me. I confronted her about it once, at Thanksgiving. The whole family was there. Turkey, stuffing, the usual chaos. Vanessa, did Trevor contact you after the barbecue? She looked at me over her wine glass, perfectly innocent. Oh honey, he sent me a few messages. I was just being polite. You know how men are. They get a little attention, and suddenly they think it means something. But you encouraged him. I was friendly. There's a difference. She patted my hand. You're young. You'll learn that men are going to disappoint you no matter what you do. Better to figure out early if they're worth keeping. My mom overheard and jumped in. Madison, your aunt was just being nice. Don't blame her for Trevor's issues. My uncle Mike chimed in from across the table.